Hi and welcome to the Forest of Arden. My name is Chris Ryan. I'm joined by Alistair Davis from Alistair Davis Golf, and we're doing a series of videos on how you can save par. So we're all trying to hit obviously the perfect shots out on the golf course, but there's going to be times when you either miss the fairway, miss the green, and we're going to do a series of about 5 or 6 videos, some on my channel, some on Alistair's channel, which are going to help you save par. So the situation we are in here, Alistair, is a pitch. How far do you reckon that is?
It's about 30 yards.
About 30 yards to the flag. So we're going for the back flag over there. The main obstacle that you're going to find gives you the most difficulty, I should say, is that bunker. Alistair, you know this as well as I do. Put a bunker in front of someone and suddenly things change, don't they?
Yeah, I get a lot of my lessons come to me and they have the kind of fear factor of water or bunkers.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden their technique tends to disappear and they get this fear factor and they try and, I call it trying to loft the ball up.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the word they tend to use, which is not the greatest terminology, but they come to me and say, how do I get the ball over the bunker? And I say, well, how are you in the bunker? And they say, oh, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So it's the mind factor.
Exactly. So I think the first thing is visually, you get a slightly different appearance, don't you? So I reckon we've probably got about 25 to 30 feet of green there, but because there's a little bit of a lip on the bunker, visually I can only see maybe about 15 feet of green.
Yeah.
So I think golfers automatically think, as you said, they've got to get this ball straight up in the air because they can't see the landing zone. Now, my most lofted club is a 60, but I've actually got a 56 here. We don't need to go for the most lofted club, do we?
No.
So that's going to be the first thing. Think about where your landing zone is. And we would advise, as long as it doesn't slow down play, maybe having a little wander around and having a little look at the other side of the bunker and kind of get an idea where you want to land that ball.
Yeah, for me, I'd probably leave your bag pin high if you can always,
Yep.
and walk back. Using your feet to get some feel of the terrain as well, but
Yep.
just use your eyes. There's loads of green there to work with. As you said, because the visuals, when you first get it, you think, oh God, I've got to get it high, I've got to stop it quick.
Yeah.
It's actually uphill slightly as well.
Yeah.
You know, little things like that people don't take into account. So there's loads of green to work with. If there was no bunker there, they'd play a running type pitch
Exactly.
pretty easily and
Yep.
straightforward.
Yeah. Right, so let's go through a little bit of technique stuff. I've got a 56-degree club here, and you'll hopefully notice that I've got a T-peg, which I've just placed into my glove, which is representing roughly where the back of my hand sort of points, if you like.
Yeah.
So going back to what Alistair was saying, we often see golfers from this situation taking their most lofted club, which might be a 60, then they try and make a move which gives them what they believe is going to be this higher shot. They often lean back, they often stop the rotation, the club overtakes. And if I do that, you'll see from the front on camera there, that the T-peg starts to point very much up towards the sky.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be a bad release if we wanted a really high elevating shot.
Right, yeah.
What we often see is that causes the club to go right under the ball, they get plenty height, land in the bunker, and they're faced with the bunker shot, and that's where you start to get the double bogeys, the triple bogeys. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a starting position where my lie's not too bad. It's not fairway lie, but it's not too bad. I'm going to get the ball pretty much under the buttons on my shirt. I'm going to get minimal lean in the handle, and what I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to try and make a motion where I feel like the T-peg on the back of my left hand stays pretty much pointing towards the target. So you were talking about this being a thumbs down shot?
Yeah.
So my thumbs are pointed down at the ground, and they're basically going to point down at the ground through that whole golf swing. We're not going to create loads of wrist set either side of the ball, because again, that's going to give us elevation. It's going to bring in that bunker.
Yeah. I think the key thing with what you're doing here, Chris, is you're almost guaranteeing contact.
Absolutely.
And if you guarantee contact, you're going to get the kind of control on the distance quite easily. And
Exactly.
if you can get the ball just over that bunker, you've got enough loft on the club there to give it enough kind of stop or run, you know, the right combination of stop and run.
Exactly.
Get you to the hole quite easily.
So I'm really controlling this movement in my body, my chest, my torso, my hips, and cause it to work through.
Yeah.
Should I hit one?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a little bit of right to left on this, I think.
Fraction.
A little bit, so I'm going to go a little bit right of the flag. Okay, so definitely a lot more to the right than what I intended.
Yeah.
And it's rolled on a little bit, but again, it's sort of safe, isn't it? I better hit another one because that was pretty poor.
Yeah, if you'd been online, you'd only be about 5 or 6 foot past the hole.
Okay, let's try that one again. And a little bit of a better result. So I never miss greens, you see, that's why I'm not used to playing that shot.
Pretty good pace. And again, if you look at the best players in the world, would average a 12% error with short game shots anyway. So if you've got a 30-yard shot, you're going to be kind of 4 yards away from the hole, which is pretty much where that ball
Exactly.
is.
So I've given myself a chance at the par. I've hopefully taken out the double bogey, which is what we're trying to do with these videos, is get you to hopefully make a par, but if you don't, it's going to be a bogey at worst. So have a look at that. Next time you face that situation, go through the process that we've gone through. Maybe go through a slightly different thought process, have a little walk up onto the green, get a better understanding of the situation. Think about the technique. You don't always have to play the highest shot you can when you've got a bunker in front of you. And if you can do that, you'll hopefully give yourself a better chance at par. Anything else to add?
No, you always try and take on the lowest risk shot. Pretty much exactly as Chris said.
Exactly.
If you can.
Excellent. Right, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't done already, then please subscribe to my channel and also go over to Alice's channel, because there's a lot more videos in this series on his channel. So there should be a link in the description down below to take you over there. Please like, please comment anything below if you've got any questions or anything that you want to know, and we'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. But thanks again for watching. Thank you to Alistair, and we'll see you again soon.